Welcome to our World History Notes, where I read from the book I wrote to teach homeschoolers World History. A Bible believer looks at world history. It's a survey. It's not real deep. It just brings to in front of you things you should know something about. You should be conversant in, and you'll need to study more to get deeper into them. Remember, Will and Errol Durant, their story of civilization up to Napoleon was um, 11 volumes. So, it could be a long book. So, in any event, you can find the book that I'm writing. You can read from on Amazon.com or Lulu.com at the Bible Baptist Bookstore, or just follow me here. And if you ever mind, subscribe to my channel. I do have interstitial lung disease, so I will cough from time to time. And I have cats, and they might wander in front of the screen. So, just the way it is. In any event, we are going to briefly discuss the American Civil War. Now, I'm not going into detail because I, in American history, I'll go into detail. But world history, um, I'm just going to kind of brush through it as an important event in in history. So let's begin. The United States of America was nearly destroyed by a bloody civil war that devastated the country between 1861 and 1865, which resulted in the federal government being the major power in a struggle between the rights of individual states versus the collective right of the nation and the power of the central government. The issues that caused the war had essentially been brewing since the birth of the nation and the wishes of some to have the individual states, excuse me, have more to say in the federal laws that would or would not be enforced within their borders. This assumed, quote, right of nullification of federal laws within a state's borders began with disputes over tariffs, taxes or duties imposed on imported or exported items, and then finally over the issue of slavery. These were the surface issues, while the underlying cause was a philosophical point of the power and purpose of the central government under the Constitution in a representative republic. As with all nations and empires in history in America, a loose confederation with a local sovereignty becomes united in a power with a strong central government. The next step, which America has not faced yet, is the dissolution of that central authority and its loss of its grip on the many once sovereign entities it controls. This can happen by internal collapse from bankruptcy or immigration issues, or from outside invasion, or a combination of many factors. Of the many famous heroes and villains that came out of this war, I'm just going to mention two nondescript Union soldiers fighting for the United States against the splinter Confederate states by the name of John W. and Wilson Ruckman, who fought for Company A, Illinois 35th Infantry. Wars are fought by ordinary men, not the great heroes we read about in history books, and who I will go into in great detail in my class, on my session on American history and Civil War. Like most Americans who fought in this war, they were common men who left an ordinary life, lived in great danger for some years, and then returned to a quiet life if they survived. They did, however, inspire their nephew, named after both, to rise high in the ranks of military, and that way had an indirect hand 2 generations later in the Manhattan Project, America's effort to build an atom bomb, plus the life of one of the most controversial preachers of the 20th century. And we'll discuss this. I'll discuss that briefly later. Another indirect link to the Manhattan Project, to the preacher I'll discuss later or mention later, was Colonel John Hamilton, a Union officer who had a distinguished service record in the Civil War. These two common soldiers, John and Wilson, fought all over the eastern and southern United States, seeing action at some of the war's bloodiest and most deadly battles, and participating in General Sherman's march through Georgia to the sea. So my point here is that in this conflict, you have common, ordinary soldiers, and these people come together, and what happens is in generation, and there's a link here with a notable general in World War One, and also the Manhattan Project, our effort to win World War Two, just from these common people, and we'll mention that more later. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there for you. We're going to discuss more events in the world history next, different wars in Europe. The 1800s are brewing, building us up to World War One. So it's really, really violent and bloody, and a lot of things going on. So we'll continue that next time. I hope you'll study world history. I hope you'll dig into it and that you'll have your own opinion. And whether if it disagrees with me, that's fine. The point is that you have your own opinion from your study. Thank you for watching.